Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let me bring up my wonderful guest today, Jen Kretchmer. Thank you for joining me.
Having me.
My pleasure. My guest today, if you do not know her, is one of the authors on the latest Candlekeep mysteries, the latest D&D book to come out, which we're all been very excited for. And of course, she plays Alindra Alexandria Garanel. Apologies. Granahil, thank you. Zobrand, Lord Keeper of Rhyme Spiro, Kinscribe of Clan Monkey Mouse, Daughter of Oblivion, Fate Changer, Knight of Wonder and Captivation, and the apologetic offspring of course, Avon and Sophia's.
It's true. It's just a short little nickname.
No, it's fine.
Quick and easy.
You may recognize her from Heroes of the Plains as of late, and previously of Silver and Steel and Beyond Heroes, and from Idle Champions Presents A Fool's Errand, which just premiered this past Monday. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. First of all, wow, it's been a week for you.
It has.
Yeah. Wow. Premiere of A Fool's Errand, Electrum launching in Idle Champions, Heroes of the Plane coming to Demiplane, and the release of Candlekeep Mysteries. Did I miss anything?
I don't know. Those are definitely some of the big ones.
Those are the big ones for now. Gotcha. Right. Yeah, it's wow. I am always wonderful wonderfully amazed whenever we interact, just keeping up with what you're doing, and then we're seeing on social. I'm like, okay. She is a machine. So thank you for taking the time to join us for the second time today. It was nice to have you with Lauren, talking all about Alindra, and just, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I'm so happy to be here.
It's beautiful. So I love to talk a little bit about Candlekeep, if you don't mind. And your adventure, the Canopic Being, which is set in, yes, beautiful alt cover there.
This is the alt cover, and this is the regular. They're both incredible covers. So
gorgeous. Yeah. It's wonderful. So it's set in Tashalar, which is sort of one of the more forgotten of the Forgotten Realms. If you could.
It hasn't been. Tashalar is a region that hasn't been seen in 16 years, I believe. So it hasn't been in any edition in since third. I believe third was the last time it actually got any substantial attention. And so I am a lore geek. I've been playing since second edition. And, you know, I knew I wanted to do something with diviners. You know, when I had figured out sort of what some pieces of my story, I knew that there were some things that we could play with, and I needed to find myself a Temple of Savras, and so I went back to the lore and looked for where there were options, and I sent an email to Chris Perkins and said, here are some places I'm looking where I know there are canonically, you know, Temples of Savras. Am I missing any? And one of them was Tashalar, and Chris kind of went, Tashalar? And I kind of went, oh yes, let's do that. So Tashluta is a tropical region to the east of Chult. And it's there's a lot that's really interesting about it, but one of the things that I think is a really fun quirk of the area is everyone there is very superstitious, and everyone there believes that they have a bit of portentousness about them. Everyone either uses cards to divine the future, or throws the bones, or you know, casts runes or reads tea leaves. It's just a thing you do. So if you come and visit the region, everyone who you meet will do that for you.
Ooh.
Yeah, and there's just interesting food, and the climate of it is really cool, and it's sort of the last stop before you hit the jungle. It's built into the caldera of a volcano, so it's in the side of a volcano, on the water, and it sort of is the last big city before you hit the jungles. So it's an interesting trading point, tourist destination, and it has one of the temples of Savras in the realms.
That sounds fascinating, and sort of leads me to wonder if you had to choose your method of divination, would you go for the cards or the bones or the tea leaves? Or
I mean, with tea leaves you get a cup of tea, which is delightful. So I think that's I like the idea of tea leaves, but I think to me a lot of my ideas of divination have to do with putting pieces together. It's this idea of, you know, being able to connect dots that other people might not be able to connect, whether it's conscious or unconscious, whether it's picking up on subtle cues, or if it's recognizing things that other people are missing and just filing that away. I think that often things that seem like they are being foretold are actually frequently being recalled, which is an interesting idea of time too.
yes, I remember when we were workshopping some of Alindra's equipment, one of the sort of the flavor text for the Ouroboros was time is a line, except for when it's a circle.
Except for when it's a circle. Yep.
It was really, really helpful when, you know, Avron's in the game and he's 40, and Alindra is more than thrice that. So
yes, she is. she absolutely
really
is.
So
it's pretty funny. The funniest to me is that I ran a one shot where I created a demi-plane of dread that was a mall, and had created a character that I didn't want to step on any toes with Todd. But as I was writing it, originally I started writing a character that was going to be a foil for Averin, but also I was basically describing Averin, because I went, the most frustrating thing for Averin would be to come up against himself. And as I was writing this, I was going, gosh, I can't put Averin in this adventure. That's not fair to take someone's character from them and do that. But then when we were playing it, the first thing Todd asked was, does he look like Averin? And I kind of went, I have the chance. And I did do you think he looks like Averin? Do you want him to look like Averin? Todd went, uh-huh. So basically, Averin trapped a teenage version, or a teenage version of himself, trapped an older future version of himself in the mall, and took his place and left. So the Averin that was running around for a while is a teenager, not an adult.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which would explain why
time is a line, except when it's a circle. Or a sphere, or a tangle of who knows. A bundle of spaghetti.
That sounds delightful, and makes me very envious of your Heroes of the Plains antics. And just congratulations again on sort of getting the band back together. I know that here at CNE we were all quite upset when we heard the news about Silver and Steel. So this is great news for everyone. Well,
yeah, we're overjoyed to be back together with the whole group, and to have Todd DMing again. You know, this is a group of people that have played together for more than 2.5 years at this point, and it's a family, and to have Adam back and to have Briv back with the group is so wonderful. And Silver and Steel is an amazing story and an incredible world. I love the world that Jasmine built, and I love the way that she tells stories. I think she's a spectacular DM.
Absolutely.
And I'm so excited for the stories she tells too. But just to come back to the group that we, that we were with for so long is just really, really amazing.
You can really see the chemistry and friendship that you all have individually and on screen as well. And we're watching this interact now. It's really special, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no, Adam called to find out if I would be interested in rejoining the group, and before he could get through the sentence, I was yelling, yes, 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 yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's great. It was a good day.
Wonderful.
It was a really good day.
So that's Tuesday nights at
6 to 8 Pacific.
6 to 8 Pacific.
On Demiplane RPG, twitch.tv/Demiplane RPG.
So definitely check that out. And pick up your Idle Champions code while you're there, because...
Yeah. We got a lot of the Idle Champions crew hanging out there.
Oh, yeah. We released a Heroes of the Plains affiliation with Valindra's Launch, which is... super, super, super exciting.
Yeah.
And we're just we're excited to see how this sort of shifts the meta and sort of synergize the whole crew together, which is
it's really exciting. It's really exciting. And it's so amazing. I was saying to Lauren how amazing it is to get to see us all together, because we play D&D and we play Theater of the Mind, so we don't have maps and minis. We don't see our characters together in anything other than our title sequence or our character art. But to see us all going through the world together is so wonderful. It's so special. And then to get to interact with other characters from the lore is it's so neat.
It's certainly our honor to bring you guys to Idle Champions.
It's absolutely my honor to be part of it. I can't. It's so surreal to have this person you create in your head. It's so strange, but this idea and this story you're creating in your head and your imagination with your friends becomes something that other people get to experience and interact with. It's unreal. That will never feel normal. It's the same thing with Canopic Being. Just when I saw the art for that, and when people started contacting me saying they had played it or read through it, I'm just going, but this it was in my head. How is it in yours too now? It's very, very, it's indescribable. I've never experienced anything quite like it.
That's wonderful. And on that, we have a question from Autocrat from chat, which is asking, did you look into any specific Forgotten Realms sources for inspiration for the Canopic Being?
For Candlekeep? Yes, I did a lot of work on that. What were my sources on this?
We want to do the same 2 a.m. deep dives you do.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So I'm very much a research-based person. My Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign had about 5,000 pages of notes. Wow. So let's see here. I'm actually looking at my research from this. I had a binder that had a section with my notes on Tashalar, on Savras. So this was from Savage Wilds. And I think it's worth noting, as we go back into the lore, there are things that are changing and things that are not great. And so it was, bringing things into the present day and looking at what is really amazing about these regions and things that we can really build on and open up for new stories was something I was really excited about. But yeah, so that was from Savage Wilds. I did a lot of research on a bunch of different wikis and all of the things that were cited there. So a lot of Realms lore there. I did Savras research. Somewhere in here. I don't know. I don't want to make everyone sit through it, but here we go. All throughout. So starting with stuff that was OD&D and going through second edition, third, all of it. Just really trying to find every source I could find on it, picking up old books, things that are out of print or that you have to get on DX Guild as PDFs that are non-searchable and everything. So really, there was a lot of homework. But also what was really neat about it was getting to play with, I don't want to get into the details of the spoilers of my adventure too much, but getting to play with my baddie and do something really different with that monster, because that's something that when I was trying to pick what my villain was going to be in the story, I really I went through kind of my options, because it's a level 13 adventure, so you don't have as many options as you would at, you know, in the mid levels, because just not that many campaigns get up to those higher levels. And I was reading all of the flavor text and reading all of the mechanics, and there was something in particular that caught my eye in the flavor text, and I went, I don't think anyone has tried this with this creature. What if we take this and twist the lore of it a little bit and put a new spin on it and try something really different? I think there's something there. And when I talked to Chris about it, he also got really excited about that idea. So it was very cool.
That's really exciting. Thank you for not spoiling for those of us who haven't played yet, but I think we're all eager to see what you've created, and especially with the dungeon and having it fully
proud of that.
fully accessible. And I would love to talk with you more about that and just how
So I have something called Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. It's a collagen disorder. My body makes wonky collagen. It means that I have a number of issues. It's multi-systemic, but one of the regular ones is I have chronic fatigue, chronic pain, because my joints don't stay in place. My collagen means my ligaments, my tendons don't keep my joints where they're supposed to be, so that they constantly. So I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user. Sometimes I use I call myself the riddle of the Sphinx. Sometimes I'm on 2 legs, sometimes I'm on 3 with a cane, and sometimes I'm on wheels. I do a lot of activism and advocacy work for the disabled community, both in tabletop. I created the Accessibility and Gaming Resource Guide, but also in TV and film, which is my other career. In addition to my tabletop stuff, I work both in front of and behind the camera. So advocating for better representation, authentic representation, more inclusion in front of and behind the camera there is really important to me. So as an author on this book, I am one of the first openly disabled creators, and I approach my work through a disability lens. So I was tackling themes that do skirt disability, that are, I included disabled characters. I wanted to create, I think in general, canonically in your DMG, you're looking at them talking about having UNT dungeons having ramps instead of stairs. So this is not anything new. And you go back to OD&D, you've got detect sloping passages as a dwarven feat. Like these are not new things in fantasy, and these are not new things in actual architecture. There's wheelchair ramps going back to ancient Egypt. The first wheelchairs were found in ancient China. Like this is not new.
No one wants to carry rocks upstairs when you can push them up.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier. But also, I think when you think about temples and locations, my adventure does deal with prophecy and characters being kind of selected. And it's there's a temple, like, and if your selected person uses a chair, you need to be able to get them to the person who has selected them. That has to be a thing. They need to be able to get there, and there's a degree of secrecy around that. And to me, an accessible temple is not a anything outlandish or novel. Similarly, I think we can make our fantasy better than our reality really easily. You can it doesn't cost anything to include a ramp or an elevating platform as well as stairs. The ideas that we hold in the real world, when you're in a world that is full of monsters constantly rampaging and attacking, and adventurers going out and going up against traps and things like that, disability is going to be much more common. And although magical healing exists, certain things cannot be affected by magical healing, and certain things, it's very expensive. When you're making, a handful of gold a year, getting 100 gold plus spell every couple of months is not sustainable. It's not reasonable. I want to be on that medical system. Like, where do I get that insurance? But
sounds like great insurance, but it's not realistic to have
I think
upper level clerics running around offering diamonds for.
People forget that the world is not. They forget that characters aren't a collection of numbers, and they forget that the world isn't two-dimensional. When you're playing in these games, there's a logical extension of ideas, and when you start exploring those ideas, I think you really can challenge a lot of the expectations that we have about biases we have in the real world. I think we have so many, a quarter of our population is disabled, and yet it's a population that still doesn't have marriage equality because of the caps on SSI and SSDI. We don't have medical equality. We don't have equal access still to buildings 30 years after the ADA. We don't have proportional representation anywhere. It's a community that's really been hidden. And I think that has created a real culture of fear. I think we use disability as a shortcut for horror. I think you always see the asylum, or you see an abandoned wheelchair. People think it's really binary. 90% of blind people have some vision. This is not, people don't know ambulatory wheelchair users exist. So we get a lot of harassment of people saying, oh, you're faking it. That narrative of like faking disability is so pervasive. And it's because people just don't know, and people don't talk about it. So for me, talking about it, being open about it, letting people know that I have a full life where I do all these things and I'm into the same stuff as everybody else, and I create content and I tell stories and I get excited about video games and tabletop games. It's really wonderful. But there's often a moment, like if I meet people, in the before times with conventions, when people who only knew me from seeing me in this kind of situation would see me in person and I was in a chair or with a cane, there was a moment where people would be taken aback. And then there would be it would click into place. So I think that every time we have the opportunity to show that accommodation is not an incredibly outlandish thing, and we give people an opportunity to exist in the world, because when you take an entire community out of your fantasy stories, whatever group that is, of people who exist in the real world and have an identity, whether you're talking about any marginalization, you're saying that in your idealized world, those people don't exist. Those people shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, yeah, they should. We have tons of adventures out there that haven't addressed this. And so many authors are allowed to put themselves into their stories and nobody cares. But the second I put a place that I would be able to go in, people think it's an act of political aggression. it's not. It's I'm just putting myself into the world the same way anyone else would. So it's a really, for me, it was really important to include that and approach my adventure from an accessible lens, but also write a really cool adventure that harkens back to second edition and has these lore bits and has really awesome monsters and challenges and a neat dungeon with innovative ideas. Like, I want to give you a really amazing story, but also have these other things.
Absolutely. And
that was a long answer.
No, thank you. And thank you very much for sharing with us in the Idle Champions community all of this. This is what we're here for. We're aggressively accessible when we can be, and when Sarah Thompson brought out the combat wheelchair, we took one look at it and said, yes, we want that.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I was so excited to see that was in there. Really, it was really moving to see that, you know, to feel like you belong in the place that you feel like you belong.
Yes, and if there's ideologies of exclusion we're just not a fan of at all.
Yeah.
But as you talk about self-insertion, I'm wondering if you had a bit of a cameo in your Candlekeep adventure.
I mean, there are Easter eggs all over. The entire thing is full of them. I have everything from you know, I love horror. I love my thesis was about zombies and was on Umbrella Corp stationery. So like Resident Evil stuff, Silent Hill. So there's a Silent Hill Easter egg in there. There is a obviously Divination is Alindra's purview. So that's a nod to her. But I mean, there wasn't anything specifically where I like created a character that was an analog for myself.
But no Stanley moment.
No, every piece of you know what I was trying to build is representative of something about me, I think. And just my aesthetic and what I'm interested in and the stories I'm curious about and how I approached the game.
Awesome. You mentioned your thesis being on horror, and I would love if you could expand on that, because I am
sure.
love to hear.
I wrote my thesis right when the kind of new zombie revolution was happening. And so I was sort of analyzing the function of zombies as a cultural here we go into the college words, the function of zombies as a cultural leitmotif, as a socio-political representation of as a representation of kind of socio-political and socio-cultural anxieties that we've gone through historically. You see a rise in zombie fiction in post-war eras, which is really interesting because you have people going off and coming back looking really different or behaving really differently. You have this, there's just, and there was stuff relating to obviously nuclear proliferation, and it's all really dark stuff. But specifically Resident Evil tackled those things. I had to choose one source. I couldn't.
Okay.
I originally started doing zombies as a whole, and eventually I needed to narrow something down. And Resident Evil really, Umbrella Corp really captured a lot of what I was trying to get to, whether you're talking about consumerism or the medical progression of all this stuff. And what's really interesting is I was a disability studies minor, but I hadn't been diagnosed yet, and I wasn't using devices or anything. I didn't use a wheelchair during college. But I look back, and so much of what I was interested in ended up dealing with things like the medical and mental health and disability aspects of what zombies represent. But I'm fascinated by horror as a genre. I love genre storytelling, whether it's fiction, sci-fi, whether it's fantasy or sci-fi or horror. I think we're able to tell stories in those genres that allow us to explore things that we would not be able to tell if we were trying to tell a story that was more grounded. When you elevate something into those realms of imagination and fantasy and magic and space, and monsters, you can make literal the metaphorical and really dive in a way you can't, and have conversations that people might otherwise not be comfortable having. So I think it's a fascinating force of cultural ideas. I feel like I'm so philosophical today.
I'm here for it. I love it. Philosophy major, so
okay.
I'm definitely
Awesome.
here for it. I feel like I should ask you some things about Alindra, though, or else I'm gonna get into a little bit of trouble. But oh goodness, I feel like we need to have tea sometime. Or
I would love to.
That'd be wonderful. Okay, so Alindra and Idle Champions, obviously that was, we've talked about how that feels surreal.
It does.
You were one of the first content creators that I got to work with for the entire process, so that's been really special in my heart, and I have enjoyed all of our interactions and going over the little details of this expression's not quite wait no, that shouldn't be askew, Alindra's hairband would be perfect, and everything like that has just been so wonderfully rewarding.
Thank you.
It's been a delight. I remember watching you on Beyond Heroes. I think it was like my first week at CNE, and I remember you and Lauren were talking about this on the last stream about we had that accidental cutscene of, and Jen's gonna play Idle Champions.
Yeah, we thought we were clear for the credit sequence, and we were not. And I literally just went and reached for my phone and said, I'm just gonna go, upgrade my Idle Champions characters right now while we did. And then somebody kind of went, oh no, we're live, and I went, oh.
Meanwhile, the office is like, yay, she loves us.
And I do. It was so much fun. So it was so exciting to get contacted by a game I actually play and care about, and because I've been playing that was a couple years ago. So
it's been a while. Yeah, we're in our halfway through our fourth year of events, which is super exciting, and also kind of inconceivable in terms of just the champion roster, but we're super happy Alindra's on it now, and of course in her awesome pirate getup for a fool's errand.
I love it so much. Pirate Griff is just about my favorite thing ever. I mean, that art came in, and I always got excited when art would come in, but Pirate Griff just, it was flawless. It was so just it's the I yes for everything always. I'm knocking my headphones out. I loved it so much. Yeah, it was just the most fantastic. I just saw a question. I'm gonna dive in and answer Trekkie's question. Trekkie is asking about why Alindra has true neutral alignment, while other champions have neutral. So true neutral versus neutral. You have two aspects to alignment. You have the good, neutral, evil, and then you have the chaotic, neutral, lawful. So if you are neutral and neutral, then you are true neutral. That's what it used to be called and often is called, because otherwise you call yourself neutral. So yeah, that's the answer to that. So Alindra is true neutral. And the justification there is, although she leans on the good side of things, because she is an anthropologist, there is an element of cultural relativism at play for her. And while she has certain principles that are important, she also recognizes that one of her responsibilities is to help cultures advocate for themselves and preserve themselves. And so if there are practices that are unique to that culture that may be deemed evil in some other place or good in some other place, that's sort of the self-determination of that group. I did a lot of anthropology research. Shocker! Jen did research?
Which,
I feel like I need to the research.
To the research. Is that like the blessed sign? Remember, you are blessed.
Hashtag blessed. Well, that came from this. I think people kept forgetting, and I didn't want to keep interrupting, so I just started holding this up very early on in Heroes of the Veil, I think.
But mentioning your anthropology research, kinscribe is a real term, and I would love to hear more about Alindra's relationship with Clan Monkey Mouse.
Yeah, so Clan Monkey Mouse is all of Alindra's names came from different people who are important in my life, and one of the people who I asked to give Alindra a name when I first created her, and this is partially a shortcut for me because I knew this was a character I was hoping to play for a long time, and I really wanted her to be someone I cared about right away, and that was by having people I care about give me names. I immediately, the character mattered to me because I felt like I had a legacy to uphold for them. So one of the people I went to was my friend Jose Molina, who has been a mentor to me in writing and in television, but also has been one of my players and also is my DM. We've been in campaigns together for it's got to be almost a decade now. And when I asked Jose what name he would like to give me, he said Clan Monkey Mouse. His dogs are named Monkey and Mouse. So yeah, Clan Monkey Mouse came out of that, and I started then going into the lore because that's what I do, and went, okay, well, what groups have clans? Who would Alindra have been with? And I found Ghostwise Halflings, and they also, I needed not only a clan but a group that would name themselves after creatures. And Ghostwise Halflings fit the bill, and something else that appealed to me about that was Ghostwise Halflings are notoriously silent, and so sign language factored into that decision too. I loved the idea of a culture that is either has a large congenitally deaf population or just signs. That's a part of their identity, and that's their primary language. Which is why Alindra can sign. So that was where that came from. But part of these anthropological ideas involve not inviting yourself into a culture where you are not invited. And so a kinscribe is someone who is not born to a culture and is not necessarily fully, they are not, like Alindra did not give up the other identities in her life and the other affiliations in her life, but she did dedicate herself and had the blessing of Clan Monkey Mouse, and was welcomed in as essentially an associate member, for lack of a better term, to tell their stories, to keep their stories and protect them. And I loved this idea of how they are wanderers. And Alindra, in very many ways, is a wanderer. But the thing that roots Clan Monkey Mouse is they were driven out of their ancestral homelands. And this is the story of Ghostwise Halflings in general in the Chandlewood. But they have something called homestones. They have if you have a piece of the place you came from originally, you have a piece of home. You are home. It's this like metonymy of an item, and I thought that was so beautiful and suited her so well, and so that's how the homestone came to be.
Yeah, that's really touching, and thank you for going into detail. I feel like we've mentioned Griff, one of your familiars of the judgy eyebrows, and I think we should bring up Grant as well. I'm just going to bring up Grant's one sheet because it's another familiar.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, close to your heart and
very close to my heart. Yeah, Todd had given me this dragon egg, and eventually it hatched, and I could not name the character. I just did not know what to name this baby dragon, this baby blue dragon. And I asked friends who I wanted to give me names, and none of those names resonated. And this is all right around the time that we lost my friend Grant Imahara. And one day that sort of, I had this thought of like, blue dragons are really clever. They're really cunning. They're really charming and smart and, ingenuous. And that's Grant. And he had this mischievous twinkle too. And before I was willing to name the dragon, even though it felt right, I went to a number of friends who were also close to Grant, and Hope also was a friend of Grant's. And I said, hey, how would you feel about if I named my dragon in the game Grant? And people universally went, that would be a lovely testament, and a way to keep his memory alive. And then I went to the DMs and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, but I really don't want to add this. I don't want to name this character this if they are going to be imperiled. Like, I'm okay with you imperiling the character, but not if I choose this name here. I'll choose something else. And this, both Todd and Jasmine were very kind about it. And so Grant was born. And it's informed the personality of Grant in the game. But when we had our first conversation about bringing Alindra in, I raised this idea of working with the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation, which is the foundation that was set up in Grant's honor, to support young people in STEAM. There are internships and programs and scholarships and all sorts of wonderful things to celebrate young people in STEAM and help further, this cause that Grant was so passionate about. You were all very excited by that idea and really worked magic with the foundation, and they were very excited. And the only way I was willing to do that and to put Grant in this is if we were, honoring him in that way. And every piece of this has been such a wonderful testament to his legacy, and the response has been so amazing. And I've gotten some messages from, people in his life who are really, really happy about I think he would get such a kick out of it. Like, I think he would just, he played tabletop games, he played video games, and I think just he would laugh, and his eyes would twinkle, and he'd be grand. But just the design of the character and the spark plug and the welding goggles, it's exactly who he was, and to have that immortalized in this way is so special.
We were really, really touched that you would think of us, and you would think of us like right out of the gate. It was just a very immediate yes from us. Yes, absolutely. And how do we do this in the most respectful way for you and Grant's nearest and dearest?
Yeah, and I'm so grateful on every front on how this happened and the care with which it was done, and the joy too, like the celebration of who he is. We lost Grant during quarantine, and we didn't have a chance to get together and celebrate him the way I think we all would have liked to. And so to have a way to commemorate him is just really, it means a lot. And he's just so adorable and sweet. I'm
gonna bring it back.
Yeah, the spark plugs and just it's and I love that was the design, because I never would have thought of it, and it's so perfect. And yeah,
I wouldn't consider. I know that blue dragons are supposed to be evil, but I think this one leans more mischievous than evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me 100% that's the way it goes. And also, you think about Alindra was raised by Averin and Sophias and Whittle, and she came out the way she did. So you got to think that there's definitely some nature versus nurture in that story, which I think is to me how I went with this.
And who better to nurture him but Alindra? So.
Yeah. It just means that the aunts and uncles around are
like
Freely and Briv, but also Akira, and Penelope, and all of them, everybody.
Speaking of sort of the whole crew, I loved the tie-ins with Penelope and Briv in your equipments.
Yeah, it was really it was so wonderful to be able to have that. I remember when Penelope came out and Hope showed us that she had given these links to Alindra and Orkira. I couldn't even process it. I was like, wait, what? Really? Oh my gosh, we're like, how cannons? Yeah, I couldn't process it. And so I loved that I was able to kind of continue those ties with these other characters, to have Briv's T-Rex, which Adam didn't know about until very recently, and he was really surprised, and that was great. I actually got to tell him that when I got the call about Demiplane. I got to say, that one of Alindra's items is the T-Rex, and he just kind of went, really? He was really excited.
I absolutely love the epic version of the T-Rex. I remember us workshopping on that decided that it would be made out of neathery steel and in the vibe of the old school D&D minis. It's like it takes up a 3x3 square.
Yeah, we were looking up to make sure that we got the scale right. I see Pale Master asking about the timeline about being raised. Alindra was raised by Averin, but Averin is time is a flat circle. Time is a line except for when it's a circle, as Alindra's Ouroboros token says. Time is a bundle of spaghetti. Everyone should go read Einstein's Dreams. It'll give you amazing. It's by Alan Lightman. It's a very short book that is written by an MIT physicist about the imagined dreams that Einstein had in the year leading up to the releasing the theory of relativity. And it's all of these different ways that time could work. If you're a DM, it's magic. And I don't know why everyone doesn't read it, but it's called Einstein's Dreams by Alan Lightman. I cannot recommend it highly enough if you like imaginative fantasy and fiction. And yeah, it's Jeremy Bearimy, baby.
It's Jeremy Bearimy? Okay. It's Jeremy Bearimy. Dot over the I is Jana's birthday.
Yep. So yes, that's how Averin is younger than Alindra. Also, storylines develop as you play games, and so times change. Also, Alindra was in a time bubble for over 1,000 years at one point, but also in 9 different realities, so who knows? You just kind of have to go with it.
Absolutely, yes. And
Yeah.
for alternate stories and timelines, you have A Fool's Errand on Mondays, or our next 2 weeks, and how we had your premiere this week, and with meeting with Ariza and seeing Briv again, and everyone,
Yes.
Howard and Freely, but also B-Dave as a DM.
Mm-hmm.
What are you most looking forward to, and what are you most trepidatious about?
I mean, I think the answer to both is the chaos.
The chaos, okay.
I've played with B-Dave DMing before, and we were up against like Zariel and Strahd and Tiamat. It was a level 20 thing, but every baddie you can imagine. The Tarask showed up, I think, all at once, and it was just like, okay. This is how this goes. So with B-Dave, you just never know. So you have to be prepared for anything. But I love the rest of the cast so much. I had played with everyone except for Aaron, who I knew and think is so wonderful. And so I'm so excited to get to play with Aaron too. But everyone there is so creative and just is wonderful about being generous with other players and sharing space, and when someone starts a tangent, they go, okay, we're doing that now, and just dive in, which is one of the best things as a player you can have, and as a DM you can ask for in players. So that part is so wonderful. I can't wait to see what the chaos is, and I know that the audience gets to help perpetuate that chaos.
Yes.
So
speaking of which, today's vote is between you, Alindra, and Bailoff for who gets a luck die. And I have 9 votes today, and they're just gonna go to Alindra.
Thank you. So look out, Mir.
It's on.
Alindra's foreseen this, Mir.
It's on. So everyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm very excited. Luck dice are fantastic, and we will need them, I have no doubt. No, Bailoff is fantastic.
Bailoff's great. Absolutely entertaining.
So much fun.
But
so much fun. It's just such a wonky assortment of people and of personalities, of characters, and yeah, to get to have that geek out moment with Ariza was so wonderful, because that is this little subtle quirk of Alindra's personality that doesn't get explored often, because we aren't normally in a place long enough for that to happen. We're usually running for our lives.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, it's Tuesdays. Also part of my flavor text. So yeah, to have a moment where I got to let Alindra be, instead of knowing everything, just being excited, was really, really fun. And I love Christina so much, and I love the way that she played it off and how cool she is. She's just so cool. And Alindra is never cool. Alindra is the antithesis of cool. Alindra is awkward and gangly, and I mean, in that way, Alindra and I are very alike. Like, does the research, and if she doesn't know a plan, she gets really nervous. And so when she looks at someone like Ariza, who's just cool, she sits there and is even more in awe.
That's awesome, and I'm excited to see how the next 2 episodes play out. That'll be...
Me too. I can't wait. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And it's so fun to have everything tying together. And, we're currently wearing formal wear or kigurumis, depending on, who you are. Maybe a red panda. And it's just really, it's a blast. I can't wait to see what this story is and why all of these devils and demons were being summoned.
Why are they here? We'll find out.
Yeah.
So that's on Mondays from 4 to 7 Pacific, right on this channel, twitch.tv/cnegames. We're actually at time for Jen today, so you can also catch her on Tuesdays from 6 to 8 Pacific on Demi-Plane RPG Twitch channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And next Tuesday you're going to be on Bardic Inspiration with Dylan and Jason.
Yeah.
Miller.
I'm really excited.
Definitely check that out because that'll be awesome. And yeah, thank you so much for spending the time with us today twice.
Thank you so much for having me. You can find out all of the things I'm up to, because like B Dave, it gets very confusing, including for me. I am on Twitter as Dreamwisp, DREAMWISP. I am on Twitch as Dreamwisp Jen. I stream Mondays and Wednesdays. So after the show on Monday, I hop over to my channel. And then Wednesdays at 4:30 Pacific, usually we are on my channel. And Candlekeep Mysteries is in stores now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It's really exciting. And Alindra's in game, and Griff's in game, and Grant's in game, and Pirate Skin is in game. Yes. It's really, it's so cool. Thank you so much for all of this. This is the most amazing thing, and I never could have imagined this happening in my life, and I'm in absolute awe of all of you. Yeah.
I can speak for the entire company when I say this has been an absolute delight for us, and we're just really touched and really, really thrilled with how it's turned out and being able to work with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You too.
Okay. I'll let you go.
Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us today.
All right. Bye, Jen.
Bye.
All right. So that was Jen Kretchmer, whose character Alindra is just launched in Idle Champions yesterday. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with her to bring Alindra to Idle Champions, and it's live. We're so excited. So thank you. And for the last hour, I am happy to do some community Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, then I am your girl for the next hour. So bring them on. No, there is no second hidden code today. There's it was just the one, Candlekeep Author, and you guys got it, which is awesome. And I'm gonna put on my pirate briv because that is seasonally appropriate. I don't know why March is pirate time, but March is pirate time. You've got your Christmas decorations, your shamrock decorations, and your pirate decorations. So we'll see how that goes. But it's really nice to see so many of you in chat again. It's been a little while since I've been on stream, and it is a pleasure to see you all. I'm seeing a question from Star Chaser 43 asking if is it true that Dylan told me that I was free to spoil anything that I deemed appropriate. That sounds like a setup to me, but perhaps I could arrange some spoilers. I would be happy to do so. Oh, someone clipped it. Okay. Well, then in that case, when he comes back, I will have video evidence. So there's a skin releasing where Tyrell wild shapes into a unicorn. Just putting that one out there. Yep, that's right. Tyrell. Unicorn Tyrell. It's coming. I do not have art for you to share today, but I've seen it, and it is awesome. Yes, Unicorn Tyrell. I am super, super excited. He looks fabulous. So if we're gonna break into some spoilers, let me start with that one. Mr. Aristitic is asking if I can reveal if Pirate Freely will eventually be available to complete the team. Yes, he will. Pirate Freely coming soon, TM, but on the sooner side of soon. So that is that. The real Antouver is asking, in absence of Evergreen champions, can you tell us what you've been baking this week? I made some carrot cake muffins, so those were quite nice. They had some pineapple in them, and they were very nice. I'll have to write up the recipe. But Unicorn Tyrell. That's exciting. Wandering Bereft is a question about Congregate Cartridge. Increasingly looks like it may fail or be terminated as a service. Can see any reassure players on those services that should the eventuality come to pass. Proactive contingency measures are in place to move all the accounts of those players to other services so they can carry over their progress without needing to start idle champions from scratch. I can't comment on that in detail, but I can say that it would be highly unlikely that we would ever abandon our players. Displays are asking how much will the new Modron core cost? So this would be referring to our the speed core, the third core, which we spoiled on ourselves recently, and I sadly cannot comment on its cost, as that is one of the last things to be written in stone. So I can't give an idea of that at the moment, just because we don't, it's not written in stone, so I can't share a number. Okay. Saren's CHC is asking, are there any plans for a favorite priority list for familiar placement when holding the F key? Not that I'm aware of, but I can be sure to pass that request on. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Patrick DA21 is saying, speaking about unicorns, are there any plans for a non-binary character in the future? We actually already have a non-binary champion. Warden is non-binary. Ooh, Prankster Ole has a question. Any info on Briv's affiliation update? Yes, that'll be coming soon, TM. And yeah, part of why that is, just to sort of fill you on some of the things behind the scenes a little bit, I'll show you behind the curtain. And when we were originally planning this months out, it was before Silver and Steel was cancelled, so it was focused on the Silver and Steel cast, and Briv, being a member of Beyond Heroes, wasn't actually ever a member of Silver and Steel, so he didn't have that affiliation. Then we had Silver and Steel's cancellation, and then the reboot or restart of Heroes of the Plains, and we could pivot to modify tech that we had already planned, but not to create new things. So just to give you a little bit of insight there. So Billiam Smith 84 is asking, when might we see the next Evergreen champion? Very soon. If I were you and I wanted to max out on and go fully epic on the latest Evergreen champion, I would stockpile 60 gold chests soon. So if you're collecting gold chests, that's something to keep in mind. People are asking who's my DPS in this formation, is going between Birdsong and Jaheira. So let's see, that's a fun time. Mike Baldy has a question regarding Alindra's item for her Heroes of the Plains ability. Is it meant to modify each time it applies to something that boosts Portent? So up to 4 times with Aerin, 3 times with Freely, 3 more times for Penelope, and some unknown future amount for Briv. I'm not 100% sure on that right now. Let me pull up some stuff from our document, which clicky clacky is what you to hear on this very loud keyboard, but that would be for Elindra's Talisman of Time, affecting I'm going to need to get I think I need more answers for that than I can offer on stream, but I will look up what I can at the moment. I will need some more information to be able to answer that fully. I apologize, my body. All I have for you at the moment is that just what's in the spotlight, that the mirage effects on the portrait champion plus 100% for Averin, for freely unlucky percent. For freely unlucky for them is plus 100% for each portented champion affected by luck of Yolanda. That's X multiplicatively. And for Penelope, for Chewinga Mask, tools for the job. Charm plus 100% for each portented champion affected by Chewinga Mask. Again, stacking. Multiplicatively. Wow, I should really do some enunciation exercises before I go on stream some days, I feel like. But that is that for now. Ooh, deceiving comma. It says, I am new. First of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us. They're playing about a week now. Is there a brief rundown on what the heck blessings do and when to spend or not spend on them? We don't have a written guide. I believe there might be one on our, a community one on our subreddit, but I am happy to give a quick chat about blessings now. So you pull up your blessings, you'll have blessings for all of your campaign and for campaign adventures and for your events. And you will also have Maestra's favor for time gates. For when to buy blessings, I would say shop early and shop often, but only spend about 1 to 2% of your current total favor. This keeps you from, obviously as your favor contributes to the gold find, it keeps you from sort of shooting yourself in the foot by decreasing your favor too much, but then giving you the boosts that you need. When you look at your blessings, on the left you have local blessings. So these, for Tiamat's favor, for the local blessings only apply to the Descent into Avernus campaign. And on the right you have global blessings, and they apply across all campaigns. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as well. You will have a little warning. Well, I can do that now. I'm sure I can buy something that'll give me a warning. There we go. Once you see this warning pop up, it's generally a good idea to stop spending. Is a good rule of thumb. But again, otherwise it's just 1 to 2%. Beverly G2000, it's nice to see you again. Margaret, I don't want a spoiler, but more of a teaser. I cannot seem to remember the answer to this one, but I hear something exciting is coming at the end of the month without saying what it is. Is it true? Yes. We'll have some great fun for you at the end of the month. All right. Kitsuro90 has a question. Are there plans to make some kind of interface or remake the collection button to show all the heroes' stats instead of just only show equipment? I find it annoying to swap between heroes on my formation if I want to know about a specific one. We do not have plans to rework the collection screen quite like that, but we have heard comments about how it's not the most convenient to read up about a particular champion by swapping them into formation. So while that's not in the works at the moment, that is definitely feedback we've heard before, and feedback I am happy to pass on again. Oh, Bakery Dragon is asking a question. I've just noticed that one of the familiars is an owl with a bandana. Is there a specific way to unlock them, or is it just from wild offers now? Pirate Griff is DLC who just launched yesterday. he is available in the shop with the Pirate Ellinger and Griff theme pack. So that's exciting. You can pick them up there if you would like. And there's also the Pirate Rib and Flow theme pack as well. And then we are running the Grant, the Baby Blue Dragon Familiar Pack is on sale right now as well, and all net proceeds of sales on all platforms until Wednesday, March 24th, we are donating to the Grant Imahara Steam Foundation. And right now we have a raffle from a very generous member of the community who wanted us to raffle off 5 grants that he bought. So shout out to you, Glenn, in Australia. So if you're interested in grants, please enter into the raffle now. If you already own Grant, I will ask you to abstain. So it's a very generous message that we got from So if someone has entered the raffle and they already have Grant and they end up winning, just let us know and we'll draw a new winner. So thank you for, again, shout out for that. Very generous gesture. Master Burglar is asking me to put Pirate Iris on. I have regular Iris out right now, and my Pirate Iris, my Iris should be piratized. So that's Pirate Iris for our pirate themes. So many pirates. I can. Oh yeah, let's blow that. So yeah, that's a nice little spoiler for y'all on Freely. People are suggesting that I dress up like a pirate, and generally not to work from home. Like, really, it's a hard enough persuasion for me to put on jeans nowadays instead of, comfy pants, let alone a pirate costume. But we're doing what we can. Oh, CNAJ hasn't rolled Pirate Iris yet. That's too bad, but it will happen. It will happen soon. We'll see that. Babylon Ranger 2261 is asking, is Chemlore's global focus on the core working properly? I bought it, but it only seems to work on Brunar. I just look at Celeste and it isn't registering for her. If you don't think it's registering, please feel free to submit a ticket in-game, and we can definitely take a look in your game to see if it's working well there. That is... I can't get into your game from here, but please feel free to send us a ticket so we can look into it. Dark Cyril is asking, Margaret, since we've seen the week-long potions for both damage and now Goldfine, are there plans to introduce similar versions of the other potions? They are they're fairly new, and they're something that we're looking at. I'm not sure where the plans are or how things are shaking out. But yeah, we're giving those a go and seeing how they work. It's Idle Champions Presents has been a time. Has been a fun time for us. It's been a very, very busy time for us, but it's also been a great time for us to sort of try out new things, see how the community responses, see if things are working as we intend, and how that shakes out. So Gray W is asking if I could explain time gates. I would be happy to give the sort of SparkNotes version of time gates. So there are two possible versions of time gates. There are natural time gate weekends and time gates that are entered through time gate pieces. Natural time gate weekends happen every 3 weeks. Specifically on the week after, so the weekend after a campaign update. So for example, for Icewind Dale 5, the weekend following that is a natural time gate weekend, and that's a pattern that we generally stick to. There wouldn't be a natural time gate on a weekend where an event's running. And on a natural time gate weekend, you have 3 champions randomly chosen from the pool with some caveats. If you don't have all champions, one of them will be a champion that you don't have. You will also have one of them be a year 1 champion, as time gates are the only way to get year 1 champions at the moment. And then the last one is doesn't have a sort of picking requirements. So then for that weekend, you can open a time gate for that champion to complete their variants and gear them, unlock them, complete their variants and gear them up. One thing that I would like to highlight here is no matter where in the weekend you open the time gate, you still get the 72 hours. So say Idle Champions is something you play at your desk at work. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. If you open it on Monday morning, then you still get the same amount of time as anyone else. So those are the natural time gate weekends. For time gates that are opened by time gate pieces, so to do that, you go here, and then you can view available time gates, and here you can choose any champion you'd like. And of course, during an event, we will definitely gray out any active champions because it wouldn't make sense to do a time gate for a champion during their own event, or arguably during an event. I would suggest spending your resources and your time on the event itself. But for opening a time gate with 6 time gate pieces, you can choose any champion you'd like. If you keep choosing the same champion, the area levels to gear up that champion will get higher and higher. So if that's feeling like a route you want to go to gear up your champions, I would suggest sort of earmarking a roster of 3 that you want to alternate between, because that'll still keep your area requirements low to get your chests. Trontonian is asking for a hint on the 2021 hidden combinations. Now you guys are trying to get me in trouble with Dylan. I have... Okay. Alright. Last update I have is on it's from February 18th, which is a while ago, for the last time we balanced what's been discovered against what has been found. So I apologize if I give you a hint for one that's already been discovered. Let's me take a look. So I am all right. For in honor of Heroes of the Plains, I will give you a hint for Penelope, and the hint is half pint sprout. So there is that. Space Lord TJ is asking if you could play a scene original character in a live game like The Answer Seas or Fool's Errand, who would you choose? Ooh, that's a great question. I think Birdsong would be a lot of fun to play. So, and I'm curious to hear what you guys would choose. That would be I'd love to know. Please let me know. Natario is asking if I had my choice, which of the original champions would you like to see changed or highlighted to bring a new sheen to their gameplay? So for the core or the Evergreen champions, I think they're actually pretty solid at the moment. I think if I was able to rain down direction from above, I would actually give some love to some of our year 2 champions instead. Just some of them could use a little bit of an update, but that'd be fun. Septimus Sheep is asking, can you have more than 6 time gate pieces at once? Yes, absolutely. I currently have 94. I need to get on that. So you can have 90. Ooh, Cassius 335 is saying that they'd love to see a Core 4 Brunor, Celeste, Nayeli, Jarlaxle live stream. That could be a lot of fun. Could be a lot of fun. Lestriel is asking, when Riv jumps bosses, can you still get silver chests and gems? Yes, you will still get the silver chests and gems. That is an easy yes. And Penelope's secret crow's been found, so that's exciting. Yes, I'm a whole hero. Super adorable. Yeah, trying to think of what else I can tell you. I feel like a little bit devilish here, showing up, spoiling a whole bunch of things, and then running away for next week. So I think I'm just gonna rebel with it and run away from Dylan's wrath. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So yes, we talked about Unicorn Turtle. Oh my God, he looks amazing. He looks amazing. Evergreen Champions, our next Evergreen Champion release, I would say is in the very soon category. I do know that we will have more information for you, some more teasers starting Monday. So that's exciting. Dylan dropped the Brunor Battlehammer sample on you guys on last Bardic Inspiration, which is super cool. I may have listened to the whole album already. It's great. So that's super, super exciting. People are saying, "How dare you?" And I'm like, I haven't been on stream in a while. It's really, really good. I'm not gonna sing it. Nobody wants that. If I start singing it, no one's gonna want to listen to the album. So I'm gonna not and say I didn't. So that is super exciting. Ooh. There is some chat about our Day of Spring streaming, which I know that we will have a dev Q&A on that, which will be, those are always really nice to take part in and to be able to offer our community, as it gives us to be frank, in some ways it takes the pressure off of me, because I would love to be able to tell you everything that in our designers' brains, but I do not have access to their brains all the time. So I am here to take your questions and pester our devs. So please, if you have questions, let me know. Alias Buck, people are trying to get me to sing. People have been trying to get me to sing for like a year. So, you know. Do I think I could get that brain access? Jeliden is asking for our designers. Is that zombie access or mind flayer access? I would prefer mind flayer access, but really I'm happy to work from their notes. Those are often quite insightful, and I'm very delighted to have access to those. But yes, some of the content of that day is not mine to spoil, so I won't say too much, but I will say that we do like to kick off every possible morning that we can with Griddle Champions, because really, what better way to kick off the morning? Evil Emperor Zerg is asking, what is Human's slot 3 white item? That is a great question. Let me pull up some notes. All right. It is, oh, they're missing it. It's the naming thing, slot 3, it's the naming thing, and it's same art as the Tantan refugee badge, just the sort of the ID card there. Oh, you're missing it. I'm sorry to hear it. I hope one of our Electrum chests manages to fill that slot for you. More questions. More questions. So Bakery Dragon is asking, is human from a campaign or from an original creation, maybe? So the concept was in Icewind Dale, and it's something, and human themselves is a C&E original. So if we ever get the home team tag, human will get the home team tag. So, which is, I'm still trying to push for that as an affiliation. I'd recommend. Oh, Dark Strudel is asking, I'm new, should I open my chests ASAP or wait until I'm at a higher level? It depends if you're asking about silver chests or gold chests. Gold chests I would open ASAP definitely for your evergreen characters. Silver chests, you can definitely open them as you please. Because they give gold, it's beneficial to give them to open them when you need a little bit more of that gold boost if you're stuck at a wall to level up to go further. But that is that's a little more finagly. For Electrum chests, those are fine to open right away. All right. Your opponent is asking, is that new upcoming Idle Champions music? The Bardic Inspiration soundtrack is the oft-requested soundtrack from one of our Twitch streams that happens on Tuesdays with Jason, Charles, Miller, and Dylan, where they write songs for the Idle Champions, and that'll be releasing soon. There's Decky Boy 12 is asking, how do I get new characters? I'm assuming that you've already that you see your core 12 and you're earning enough gold in the game to unlock them. If you're looking to get more champions to fill out your roster, first up is the easiest is to get Hitch. Was to sign up for our newsletter. This is Hitch right here. He swaps with Delina, and you can get him by signing up for our newsletter in game right here. For other champions, like event champions, we have an event going on right now, and there are 3 additional champions that you can unlock and gear up. So I would definitely do that. And then other than that, you can get new champions through time gates. We have a natural time gate weekend every 3 weeks, and you can also open a time gate with time gate pieces. And the special thing about the time gate through time gate pieces is that you can choose whichever champion you'd like. So definitely check those out. It's a Festival of Fools right now, so you can recruit our latest champion, Alindra, and our year 3 champion, Briv, and then Rosie as well. So definitely recommend doing that. I would definitely unlock and try to complete the variants of all 3 champions, but then focus my free plays on Briv and Alindra. So that's sort of the Cole's notes of how to get new champions. And then every 3 weeks we'll have another event, and that will give you another 3 champions to unlock until you've done a year of events. And then it's just it'll be one new champion to unlock and gear up, and then you can gear up the returning champions of the preceding 2 years on top of that. Ram Python 64 is asking, are Electrum chests better than silver and worse than gold, or how do they rank? That's definitely one way to rank them. It depends what you're after. I would say that they're definitely better than silver chests. It depends what you're after in terms of what you're looking for from your gold chests. If you have all shinies on your, like all epic and then all shinies on your Evergreen champions already, then Electrum chests are great because they give gear for any unlocked character, including event champions, and give a possible pathway to event shinies as well. So in that way they're pretty handy, but they also don't award feats, so there's a lot sort of to balance there. But Electrum chests are only available through our partner streams and podcasts, and you can buy gold chests for gems as well. So there's I'd say Electrum is pretty decent for free stuff. I would, if you're not on our Discord or on subreddit already, I would definitely check them out. First and foremost, they're great communities, welcoming, very not toxic for a video game community. Well, just in general, but especially for a video game community. But also, they are a great resource for combinations to get those chests for you. Golfin Mike 21 is asking, hi Margaret, should Rosie's Bee Stinger skin be rewarded if you complete all 3 variants? Yes, it should be. If it's not, please open a ticket to see Nishan and we'll see what we can sort out for you, or what's going on in your game. Your opponent is actually asking about the melody currently playing. Will it be coming to the game as a second track, as there only one, or if not, any idea will we be getting more in-game music at any time? So this is from Shards of Titan, which was a previous game at that Codename created. And it's a soundtrack from that. It is often requested that we release it in some way, and it is definitely still on my list to book people about, but it's not been the focus at the moment with the work we've been doing leading up and through Idle Champions Presents and Redacted coming soon. Goodness, I need some water. That's been a lot of talking in the past 45 minutes. So yeah. Cinnamite is asking, what is the chat button for in game? Normally there's some in-game chat, but it's not there right now. The devs are aware, and we'll see how that goes. Yes, Penelope is a friend of everyone, and especially of Human, and not just her Heroes of the Plains friends. You're entirely correct. Make 543. Chat is for chatting, but once again, it is down. So, yes. Sorry about that. Wonderful. Okay, now I'm trying to go and see what else I can spoil. Zed Pavel is asking us, saying if Penelope is not a friend of someone yet, she would be soon. Yes, that's why for instead of keeping your friends close and your enemies closer, we have keeping your friends close and your soon-to-be friends closer. So, there you go. Yes, and Penelope is here, and her animation has her skipping, which I just think is adorable. So, that's pretty wonderful. Yeah. And let me Nope, that is not the right button. All right. And there's lots of fun things that are coming, and I'm a little sad that my favorite skin for an Evergreen champion keeps getting pushed back, and it will not be coming in the soon. And it really makes me sad. Yeah. It's a shame. Oh, and congratulations to Elfgrist for winning the giveaway. It's wonderful to be here with you guys. Ooh. Ragnar is asking, what has been my favorite moment from Idle Champions event so far? The rhyming challenge was delightful to watch. Delightful. And almost as much fun as watching Dylan do the rhyming challenge himself. So that was a great time. Big big thank you to the community for that one. So. Counting Goo is asking, do you have a familiar that you would really like to see added to the game? My favorite familiar is already in-game. It's Fluffy. I'll bring Fluffy to a more prominent position. So that's my absolute favorite familiar. So that's been delightful. I do have to say that Cinnamon, the red panda, is super adorable in Idle Champions Presents, and would make an excellent familiar as well. So maybe something there. Yeah, it's I love seeing what some of our what our artists come up with and what comes up for concepts. There's some really cool familiars and some really cute familiars as well, which is just always a pleasure to see. Ragnar is asking, is Bubbles coming soon or not? Yes. And there are some requests that if Cinnamon comes, that the animation has the Kamami Bro stance, which would be super adorable. That's great. And then we've just had the recent edition of Pirate Griff, and then of course Grant the Baby Blue Dragon, which was something that we're truly honored that Jen would think of us right away to collaborate with her on, and putting Grant together and working with the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation has left a few of us with a deep need for Kleenex and very few dry eyes. So we're just really honored and privileged that we could collaborate to do this. No. Yes, Lauren, exactly. So much crying and so much awe over the art. I wholeheartedly agree. It's been a time, and it's really been a privilege. I do have to ask people, are they excited for Descent into Avernus Part 10 and seeing how that campaign concludes? I'm really excited for it. I hope you are too. It looks the ending looks pretty epic from the glimpses that I've seen from art. So I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I think you will. I'm really looking forward to it. There's lots of great stuff in it, and you'll have to see it soon. I know sometimes that there's a little bit of frustration that we don't give the plan out months in advance, and for a lot of that, it's we really don't like having to go back on what we've said or things changing. So thank you for bearing with us and having patience for that, and we will, but and I can say that we have taken a bunch of the feedback into account, and sort of try to share what we can. I will try to sneak on stream and spoil more things when I can. But the next content drop will be in 2 weeks minus 1 day, and it's partly we don't like to say things before they're set in stone, and partly we like to let what's currently active and what's currently launched in Idle Champions have its time in the spotlight, and it's time to really breathe and flourish, and we wouldn't want to take that away from anyone, whether it be the charity that we're working with for a familiar, or the content creator that we're working with for their champion. It's a really special time that we don't want to sour. So thank you for your patience. But now our time is almost at end, so I will let you all go and close off the stream for the afternoon. Thank you very much for joining me on this Thursday, March 18th, 2021, also known as the 367th day of March 16th, 2020. How has it been a year of this? I don't know. Thank you for joining me and for participating in the Idle Champions and Dungeons & Dragons communities. You are all fantastic, and thank you for just continuing to be such a wonderful community. This show exists because of a number of amazing people behind the scenes, including our producer and moderator today, Sasha, of course our executive producer, Dylan, and our partners at Dungeons and Dragons. And finally, a huge thanks to Jen for joining me today to chat all things Alindra, Heroes of the Plains, A Fool's Errand, and Candlekeep. That was wonderful. Take care, champions, and I will be trying my best to see you around soon, and tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific for Griddle Champions with me and Sean.